Hey there, humans. It's me, your favorite big, hairy, orange ape. Today I am taking a break from swinging through the trees and munching on delicious fruits to talk about something shiny, something you humans go absolutely bananas for. Gold. You see it in jewelry, in your electronics, and even on your teeth sometimes. Weird, right? But have you ever stopped to wonder where this obsession started? How did a shiny yellow rock become the ultimate symbol of wealth and power? Well, grab a banana and get comfy, because I'm about to spill the tea on the glittering history of gold. So where did it all begin? Picture this. Thousands of years ago, way before skyscrapers and smartphones, one of your ancestors was probably just strolling by a river. They look down and bam, a shiny, sparkly nugget catches their eye, glittering in the sunlight. It wasn't like other rocks. It was heavy, it was bright, and you could hammer it into cool shapes without it breaking. This was probably how gold was first discovered, just lying there in rivers and streams, waiting to be picked up. These early humans didn't use it for money. Oh no, they thought it was magical, a little piece of the sun fallen to earth. They made simple jewelry and decorations with it, little trinkets to show off. In places like ancient Egypt, gold was a huge deal. The pharaohs were dripping in it. They believed gold was the flesh of the gods, so they were buried with tons of it in their tombs to take with them to the afterlife. Imagine having a solid gold coffin. I'd rather have a solid gold banana, but to each their own. Then things started to get a bit more organized. Around 550 B.C., a king named Croesus from a place called Lydia, which is in modern-day Turkey, had a brilliant idea. He decided to create the first ever standardized gold coins. This was a game changer. Before this, you'd have to trade stuff like a bunch of chickens for a cow. It was messy. But with coins, you had a small, portable, and universally accepted form of wealth. Suddenly, trade exploded. You could buy spices from the other side of the world with just a handful of shiny coins. This is when gold really became money. It was durable, it was rare, and everyone agreed it was valuable. The Romans loved gold too. Their empire was built on it. They mined it all over Europe and used it to pay their soldiers, build massive structures, and throw extravagant parties. Having gold meant you were powerful, and everyone wanted a piece of the action. This led to a whole lot of exploring, and let's be honest, a whole lot of conquering, all in the name of finding more of that shiny, yellow stuff. Now, let's fast forward a few hundred years. The lust for gold didn't just stay in the old world. It sailed across the oceans. When explorers like Columbus reached the Americas, they weren't just looking for new trade routes. They were looking for gold, and they found it. The Aztec and Inca civilizations had incredible treasures, vast amounts of gold crafted into amazing artifacts. But this discovery had a dark side. The European conquerors were so obsessed with getting this gold that it led to the downfall of these mighty empires. It is a sad reminder that the love for something shiny can sometimes bring out the worst in people. But the quest continued. The idea of finding a fortune just lying on the ground was too tempting to resist. This brings us to the famous gold rushes. Imagine this. One day someone finds a gold nugget in a river in California. Word gets out, and suddenly thousands upon thousands of people drop everything they're doing and race to California to strike it rich. This was the California Gold Rush of 1849. People came from all over the world, living in rough tent cities, all digging and panning for gold. Most of them didn't find much, but a lucky few became millionaires overnight. It was a crazy, chaotic time that completely transformed the American West. And it wasn't just in California. Similar gold rushes happened in Australia, South Africa, and Canada. These events shaped countries, built cities, and created legends. It was a global fever, all for a metal that came out of the ground. It just goes to show how powerful the dream of getting rich quick can be. So what happened after all the easily found gold was picked from the rivers? Did the story end there? Not a chance. Humans just got smarter about it. They developed massive industrial mining operations. We're talking giant machines digging deep into the earth, crushing tons of rock just to extract a few tiny ounces of gold. It's a lot more work than just picking it up from a stream. A huge chunk of the gold we have today came from these massive mines, especially from places like South Africa, China, and Australia. But mining on this scale has its own problems, creating huge environmental challenges. It's a tough balance between getting the shiny stuff and protecting the planet. It's something you humans are still trying to figure out. I'm happy just chilling in my tree, but I can see it's a complicated issue for you all. Now, let's talk about the big change in the 20th century. For a long time, the value of money, like the U.S. dollar, was directly linked to gold. This was called the gold standard. It meant that for every dollar in circulation, the government had to have a certain amount of gold locked away in a vault. You could, in theory, walk into a bank and exchange your paper money for actual gold. This kept the value of money stable. But in 1971, the United States decided to end the gold standard. It was a huge moment. Money was no longer backed by physical gold. This meant the price of gold could now float freely, determined by supply and demand, just like bananas or any other commodity. This made gold an investment. People started buying it not just for jewelry, but as a way to protect their wealth, especially when the economy gets shaky. So where does all this gold actually go today? You might be surprised. Only about half of it is used for jewelry. What about the other half? Well, a big portion is held by central banks and investors in the form of gold bars stored in super secure vaults, like the famous Fort Knox. It's a safe haven asset. When people get nervous about stocks or currencies, they often buy gold because it tends to hold its value. But here's the really cool part you might not know. Gold is in your pocket right now. It's an excellent conductor of electricity and doesn't corrode, so tiny amounts of it are used in almost all of your electronics, your smartphone, your computer, your TV. It's in the connections and circuits, making sure everything works properly. It's also used in dentistry for fillings and crowns, and even in medicine and space exploration. The visor on an astronaut's helmet has a thin layer of gold to protect their eyes from solar radiation. How cool is that? From a shiny pebble in a river to a key component in space technology, gold has had an incredible journey. It has built empires and destroyed them. It has created fortunes and sparked mass migrations. It has been a symbol of gods, a form of money, and a vital industrial material. It's amazing how one single element from the periodic table, O, has had such a massive impact on human history, culture, and technology. It's a story of discovery, greed, innovation, and beauty. And it all started with someone spotting something sparkly. It just goes to show that sometimes the most amazing things can be found just by looking down at your feet. Or, in my case, by reaching for the highest branch to find the ripest fruit. So the next time you see a piece of gold jewelry or use your phone, take a second to think about its incredible story. Think about the ancient Egyptians, the Roman soldiers, the gold rush prospectors, and the modern scientists who have all been captivated by this amazing metal. Its story is far from over. As long as it remains rare, beautiful, and useful, gold will continue to hold a special place in the human world. And who knows what new uses you'll find for it in the future. Maybe one day you'll even build me that solid gold banana. A fella can dream, right? Well, that's all the history I have for you today. My throat's a bit dry from all this talking, and there's a bunch of mangoes with my name on them. I hope you found the story of gold as fascinating as I do. It's a lot more interesting than just looking at your bank account, isn't it? Thanks for hanging out with me. If you enjoyed this little trip through time, be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe for more stories from your favorite primate, and maybe leave a comment telling me what shiny thing you'd like to learn about next. Until then, stay curious. See ya.